Yeah, nobody knows how to find this place. Whoops. One more rent-a-bike down.
Do you have an account for the public bike?
No, I've never ridden one of these. These are the rent-a-bikes here in China. They're all over the place. They're like trash everywhere. There are like millions of them all over the place. Yeah, I mean, it would actually be easier. My scooter is right over there charging up right now. Got to charge it like every 3 days. Otherwise the battery runs out. You know though, like, so everybody rides electric scooters here, and people say, oh, your scooter's illegal if it's too big or if it goes too fast. And we have a friend here, and 5 years ago he got put in jail. He was riding down the street, the police had a blockade, and they stopped him and they said, hey, your scooter is illegal and we're throwing you in jail. They threw him in jail for 10 days. And he had like a half full of rice and half of an apple to eat every day. He said he was starving and it was terrible, mosquitoes at night. It was like 50 guys crammed into a 30 by 30 cell. And they just made an example of him as an expat, American foreigner who got caught riding an illegal scooter. But then this has never happened to anybody else. It's just like this one guy, but he doesn't even ride a scooter today anymore. So when I went to buy a scooter, he's like, well, don't get one of the illegal ones. So I got an illegal one anyway, because I thought it kind of sounded like fun in a way what he went through. Like, you know, it's like minimal prison experience, but not too much. So I got one of the illegal scooters, and my wife got one of the legal scooters that's lighter and smaller. And then the other day, one of our friends was talking to the chief of police for Shenzhen and asked him, all right, so which scooters are illegal? And she pointed to one of the lighter ones and said, so are these legal? And the chief of police says, no, they're all illegal. It's illegal to ride any scooter in Shenzhen at all, but they just enforce it selectively. So sometimes they go out and they'll pick up all the people riding the heavier ones, but actually they're all illegal, so it's completely illegal. It's hard to even know what's legal and what's illegal here sometimes, so it's more a matter of practice than what's on the books, because what's on the books doesn't necessarily make sense. 我们有一个阿姨，还有她不说英文。他说一点点英文，但是不很多英文。然后我觉得是forgetting all my Chinese. When you're learning a new language, it's always easier to understand than it is to speak it, because you have to remember stuff to speak it, but when somebody else is talking, you just kind of, yeah, I mean, that's always easier, right? Yeah. But yeah, so it's like a contest for whose language is worse. Like, is her English worse or is my Chinese worse? And at the moment, I don't know if her English is probably better than my Chinese, but still, if I speak English to her, I just don't know if she understands. But if I speak Chinese to her, I know that she's getting what I'm saying. The only trouble is I don't speak that much Chinese, but I can tell her to go buy apples at the market or something. I can at least do that. So this event is called Mad Rasters, and it's put on by a guy named Sarav. He's from India, and it's just a meetup of a bunch of designers. So it's going to be 50, 60, 70 designers. And there's some other people speaking before me. I'm the last speaker going tonight, and he came to one of my talks a little while ago where I talked about writing for a bunch of publications, getting into a bunch of magazines, and so he wanted me to talk to the designers about that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about influence and thought leadership, and how as a designer, it's not just all about being a good designer, but there are these other things like thought leadership that can really make you into a celebrity designer, and then you get paid more and you get more business, you get to do fun projects, you get to do work that you really care about rather than just manual labor type design work. So that's what I'll be talking about tonight. And I've got a picture of a bear, so hopefully everybody enjoys it. We'll see. I'm not really preparing anything tonight. I mean, normally I do slide decks that it's 80, 90 slides, and I rip through them really quick, and I have a ton of information packed in there. I either do that, or I don't do any slides at all. I just get up and talk. And this one's kind of in between. I've got 7 or 8 slides, but mostly I'm just going to talk, partly because I just didn't have any time this week to put anything together, but also because I'm enjoying just talking more and not so much all the presentation prep and going in depth. I mean, I like doing that, but I'm really enjoying just having a casual conversation with people now when I go out to speak, and it seems like it goes smoother, and it seems like people actually like it more. So yeah, I'm just gonna focus on just talking tonight and not going so over the top with the slide deck this time. Our Chinese Uber is here. My thing? Just do my thing? I don't know what my thing is. 你好. So we're heading to Futian. Futian is the CBD, the central business district of Shenzhen. If there is a central business district of Shenzhen, Luohu's also kind of a central business district of Shenzhen. Shenzhen's a really long city. It's kind of just this long strip that goes along the coastline, and it takes about, well, if you get on the train, it's basically like a good hour and a half from one end of it to the other. And now Shenzhen has expanded back north, further up into the mainland. Basically, as the city part gets more expensive, the factories get pushed out, and they get pushed north, farther and farther back away from the coast. And so the city's just expanding and getting bigger and bigger. And so if you just go along the coast, it can take you about an hour and a half to just traverse the length of the city, which is crazy because I'm from Southern California, and it's an hour and a half to get from LA, where I'm from, down to San Diego. And so Shenzhen is kind of, when you travel across Shenzhen, it's like driving from LA to San Diego. That's how long it takes just to get across the city here. And that's not traffic or anything. Like, that's going on the train that goes fast, or hopping in a taxi even when there's not traffic. It just takes that long to get across town. And it really is big. There's just a ton of people, ton of buildings, ton of cars, ton of buses, and it's growing all the time. Eventually, there's a big city called Guangzhou a little bit north. It's about 2 hours north by car. And eventually, at some point, it's just going to be all connected. Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and you'll never know where one city ends and the other city starts. And that's going to be one massive, huge super city. They're actually both super cities already, but at some point those are going to join, and we're going to have basically one city that's 80 million people or something. It'll be crazy. The hard part is when you get in front of a camera, it's like you have to figure out who you really are in front of a camera, because it like changes you as a person. As soon as you get in front of a camera, it's like you forget who you are. And I don't know, maybe if I spend 100 hours in front of a camera over the next 2 weeks or something, maybe then it'll like fade away, and then I'll feel more like my normal self or something. But it's interesting being in front of the camera, because you do feel like this pressure to, I don't know, be a little bit different, smile more, be happier, be more positive, say different stuff. And it's yeah, it's hard to be exactly who you would be if the camera weren't there. So Uber was here in China when we moved here, and Uber was big. They had spent $1 billion or something investing in China just during the year before we got here. And so it seemed like Uber was here to stay, and we were using Uber, and it was great, and we were loving it, and it was cheap here. And it was great because taxi drivers here speak zero English, and there was an Uber competitor, a Chinese competitor called Didi, but the whole app's in Chinese, and we had no idea how to use it. So Uber was great because we could call the car, and we didn't have to deal with translation and all that stuff. They knew where we wanted to go and all that. And then I think we were here for about 2 months, and Uber came to this arrangement to leave China and sell all their assets to Didi. And so all of a sudden that Uber app gets turned off, and all we have is the Didi app, which I still haven't figured out how to use. I need to sit down and actually go through it and have Jay teach me how to use it and how to call and everything. Well, the issue with Didi too is I have tried to use it, but what happens is the driver calls you and then says, "Where are you at?" Well, when I first got here, I didn't even know how to understand this. So, I mean, the guy would call up and he'd be like, "Ah," and I'm like, whoa, 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 like, what'd you say? And then he'd get all mad when he realized I didn't speak Chinese. So I did that once or twice. I was like, forget this. I'm not going to use Didi anymore. Now I've learned enough Chinese that I think I can kind of carry on a conversation on the phone and at least tell the guy, hey, look at your map. I'm where the map says that I am on GPS. But I need to actually go through this. The guy gets ticked off at me, or if it works out. Because, man, I would love to know how to use it, because it's so much easier than going out and waiting for a cab for 20 minutes and not being able to find one when it's super hot here. Means hot. I think I thrive on being overloaded and having too much stuff to do. I think I kind of like that. And so I tend to make too many goals and I get too many things set up, but I don't know any other way to live. If I only had, I don't know what I would do with spare time, I guess, which is probably why I don't get out to skate enough. Because I overload my schedule, I put too much stuff on, but there's so much stuff I want to do. There's so much stuff I want to be involved with. And so I like overloading myself and then figuring out how to get it done. And lately, the best part, first of all, I've got MWI. So with MWI, we're at about 25 people right now globally. We've got about 15 people in the US, 10 people in Hong Kong, and then kind of two or three of us here in Shenzhen, depending on how you define here. But we're expanding here in Shenzhen, and the model that we're looking at is we want to have a bunch of local offices. So we want to have offices spread out around the world that are managed by a sort of local CEO, which in most cases is probably going to be a biz dev type, sales type guy who goes and starts, because everything starts with closing new business in a new area. So we bring in some entrepreneur who's really good at sales and business development, relationships, who can go hustle and close deals, and then he gets started in an area, opens an office for us. The fulfillment work gets done by our headquarters or one of the other offices, and that's how we get a new office going. So we've got our managing director in Hong Kong, Jason Wong. He started a year ago in Hong Kong. He's done a great job there. And he's got Hong Kong to the point where it's basically self-sufficient. It's kind of running itself. So he came to us and said, hey, can I open the Shenzhen office, or can I take over the Shenzhen office? I've been here for a year now, but I haven't really I've been busy with other stuff too, so I haven't been focused 100% on getting an office up and running here. I've got a lot of the business basics, incorporation, bank account, accounting, a bunch of that stuff done. But then we were looking at doing a merger or an acquisition here, and so we were focused on that for a good 6-7 months. And then then Jason came to us and said, hey, I've got Hong Kong self-sufficient. I know exactly what is needed here. I know how to run this. I know how to go close the big deals. So how about if I put somebody in charge in Hong Kong, and then I take over China and just do what I did in Hong Kong, and I'll do the same thing in China. And we realized that that was really the right business decision for us to make. Even though we loved these guys that we were looking at acquiring, we looked at that and said that's a much less risky route for us to take with MWI here, and just seemed like the right thing to do. So we decided 2-3 weeks ago that was the plan, that Jason was going to open things up here in Shenzhen. Oh, I love this building with the horse coming out the side. What's this building called? Hai Wang? Yeah, so you've got this, well, let's see, you've got two horses riding out one side, and then you have some god of the ocean with a trident spear going in the other side of the building. And anyway, I just love that building. It's like the first time I was riding here, I saw that and I was just like, what the heck is going through that building?
Same here. I still like trying to figure that out for years, but still like.
Oh, so that's Neptune. It's the Neptunus building. So that's Neptune, the god of the ocean, the Greek god of the ocean. But also, one of our guys in our Hong Kong office, Seth was, his wife got a job transfer to London from Hong Kong. And so Seth figured, well, I guess I'll put in my resignation at MWI because MWI doesn't have an office in the UK. So he came to us and said, hey, I'm moving to the UK, I've got to quit. And Jason said, well, why don't you open an office for us in the UK? And Seth said, sure, love to. And so we talked to Seth about this, so he's super excited, and he's going to go to the UK and he's going to open an office for us in the UK. So we've got an office opening in the UK at the beginning of July. I guess it is the beginning of July. So in a couple of days he'll be in the UK, and we're going to get co-work space, phone number, all this stuff, basic stuff set up there, accounting, corporation, figure out taxes, how this all works there. And we'll get an office up and running in the UK with Seth, and then we're going to try to take advantage of companies, not take advantage of, we're going to try to take advantage of the fact that there are companies in the UK that want to get into Asian markets, and we'll have a guy on the ground in the UK who understands Asian markets. Seth is fluent in Cantonese, Mandarin, and studied over here and really gets marketing and business over here, so he can help our clients in the UK that are interested in moving into China and moving into Asia. So we're excited about Seth getting that up and running and expanding to Europe finally. Now we can be like a real global agency. We've got the offices here in Asia, we've got offices in the US, but now that we have, that's kind of like half the world. Now that we've got Europe, it kind of makes it more legit that we're actually international, so to speak. So I'm launching a website, influencerinc.co, and that's going to be an online magazine about influence, and it's going to have links to courses, it's going to have an event directory, it's going to have directories of speakers, it's going to have all sorts of everything to do with thought leadership and influence and personal branding is going to be on this website, or this website's going to be the hub for all this stuff. And we've got a virtual summit coming up in September. So if you go to influencesummit.co, we're putting on this virtual summit. We're going to have 50 speakers there who are going to talk all about personal branding, thought leadership, writing, books, speaking, all those different things. It's all going to be pre-recorded, but we're going to get some heavy hitters on with this, and they'll pre-record an interview. I'm also going to use part of that interview to launch an Influencer Inc. podcast, so that'll be coming out soon, and we'll get 50 interviews to kick off the podcast, so that'll be awesome. 50 episodes to start things off with, so we'll come out with a big bang with the podcast. And then we've got a live event going on in Salt Lake City, Utah in November. November 16th, we're going to do a live event there. And we're hoping to bring out about 500 people. There's going to be a keynote part to it. There's going to be a mastermind part to it as well. What else we got going on? Yeah. We're getting a lot of talking in here, though. 你好，A 区在哪里？
你去西门出去。
谢谢。
Come on, let's go inside.
And we just walked like came. Okay.
This is our volunteers team.
All right.
Are you? She's one of the
Hi, nice
speakers.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Brought my whole family.
I learned a little bit of Cantonese while I was living in Hong Kong, but so little because it's too easy to get by speaking English.
Yes, everyone can speak English there.
And also, if I learn Cantonese, where else am I going to use it? It's Hong Kong and then sort of around here. I don't think, I mean, Tav I had met before, who spoke, but I'm not sure I know anybody else. No, I'm fine, I'm good. So, No, I've got water, so I'm all good. So how long is the break until we get restarted?
Another 15 minutes.
Okay.
We're gonna start.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I have a guy from Hong Kong who's running up here trying to make it. I just want to tell him to like rush and hurry, so I'll be like, all right, you got 15 minutes. So I grew up in the States, and in the States, you drink water with a bunch of ice in it, especially in the summertime. And then I come here to China, and people give you hot water in the summertime and in the wintertime, like a cup of boiling hot water. And nobody drinks water in ice. You have to ask for ice water, bing shui, and sometimes they'll just bring you slightly cool water. Every once in a while they'll bring you some water with some ice in it, but often you ask for bing shui and they're just like, why would you want that? Well, now that I've been here for 4 years and I've been drinking lukewarm water and warm water and sometimes water with 1 or 2 small ice cubes in it, I guess I've gotten used to it, because I went back to Idaho in May, and every restaurant I went to, they'd bring me this huge cup of water, half full of ice, and I couldn't drink it. It hurt my teeth, and I was drinking it and like hurt my throat going down. I was just like, man, I'm actually turning Asian now because I can't drink cold water anymore. And I couldn't wait to get back to China and get some lukewarm drinking water. So anyway, it's just, I didn't realize it had snuck up on me, but yeah, I can't drink the ice water anymore. It just hurts my teeth too much. And I understand why people from Asia don't drink the ice water and think that Americans drinking all this ice water, it's crazy, because it seems kind of crazy to me now.
How long time you gonna be here? How long time you gonna be here?
Wait 2 more months, and then you will be listening to the
personal branding speech with us. Please welcome.
All right.
Oh man. Thank you.
Yep.
So happy.
There you go.
Thank you, man. Okay, well, bye. So let's keep in touch, okay?
Will do.
Thank you.
See ya. See, I always bring one book with me, just for like the one person. And so he's like, hey, I'm gonna go buy the book. It's like, hey, I've got the book right here. Like, that's the one guy that I'm holding out for. Now, if I say this publicly, then I'll get like 10 people coming up and being like, oh, I'm gonna go buy your book. And then I'll be like, run out of books, and they'll be like, oh, I tried that on him and he didn't give me a book. But I had one book, he said he was gonna buy it, so he gets the free copy. Yeah, thank you so much.
I was really nervous because,
Oh, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, you didn't seem nervous.
Oh yeah, I pretend to be not.
So good to meet you, Aya.
Thank you so much. I'll come over. I subscribed to your newsletter a long time ago. I read your book, so I was like,
Oh, you did?
I'm actually more nervous of like meeting you. I was like, I'm gonna speak in front of this guy, and like, I could talk about with the CMO. It's like, I'm gonna be fucked up.
Thank you so much for reading the book.
No problem. It's like,
I'm so thrilled when I meet people who have read it.
yeah, I
I'm
know.
like,
I
oh,
was like,
somebody
those
actually
words,
reads
I was like,
this stuff.
I'm gonna be with my idol. Like, how do I talk? It's like super like girl fanning by this point. Like,
Cool.
okay, like,
Yeah, you
Did
have
we already connect on my
yes,
team?
yes.
We're connected?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're connected.
good.
We're connected in newsletter, everything. So.
Okay, awesome.
In Twitter, wonderful thing. So.
Cool.
I'm not creepy. Just like, I mean, I'm trying not to be creepy here, but I mean, I'm
And you're from
excited.
Indonesia, right? Where are you from?
Russia.
Russia? Oh, so cool.
We met in China. So.
You guys met in China. Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Multinational.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.